I put a fist to the face of a rapist, and yeah, I take this for the viewing pleasure of the nameless faces, see disgraces, and yeah, one day I may change this kind with my mind, but I won't bow to the beast, never make peace and feast on if you're gonna let it eat to the white beat, I'm gonna get a beat another beat, I'm gonna get the home in the seat, then beat me till you leak, going off like a time bomb, white heat, talk about like a python, bonafide on the side, then we're gonna ride up into your mind, and then we're gonna take it, I beat the name of, take it, hands up, begin to shop, take it, take it, take it, with the money, take it, take it, money, get shut off, la, don't get moved, baby, get with it again. God got you in my sights, motherfucker, it's a headshot. You up on the spot and you saw the rod. Yeah, no man, yes, all man, need all man for what we saw. Man can't be when it's been away. But when you see for yourself to get involved in talking all in, do more poets of war. Kids on to dead, we leave it raw. Bloody galore, you clean up the core, we do it for her. It's anarchy up in the patriarchy, and we love it. We done asking nasty, so now we're here thugging it. No man and no woman, it's the people that are running. Listen for that engine, cause now we gon' be gunning. I take it, I beat the name of, take it, hands up, begin to shop, take it, take it, take it, with the money, take it, take it, money, get shut off. La, don't get moved, don't come on. La, make good day, done, gang, gun, not, die, 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 die,
Yes, you guys. We're gonna chill tonight. We're gonna listen to some music and talk about life and eat on the microphone. Can you guys hear me okay? Can everybody hear me? Or am I too low compared to the music? I know the music's pretty loud, so yeah. What's everybody up to tonight? We're having a hard time, aren't we, you guys? Yeah, it's a tough time right now. It's not easy for a lot of us. Our dog just died. And, yeah, it's pretty harsh, to deal with things like death and, loss. And I feel like that's something that, all of us can relate to. Hi, Jessie. Did you like that song? I'm a raver girl, but I also listen to some crazy stuff. That's actually an Indian band, if you guys want to check them out, called Bloody Wood. And I believe they're kind of poking fun at Bollywood, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, it's very interesting stuff. I hope that you guys will definitely check out some of their songs. They're kind of like a Rage Against the Machine type of group, but not fully, because they don't fully subscribe to that. But yeah, what's going on? How you doing, Lara? Hi, Smoke. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Um, yeah, the dog had been coming here. It wasn't living here, but had been coming here for more than 2 years. I mean, we got close to them, and they they just died. Like they were left in our care, and I don't know what happened, but basically they were okay. They were running around and things, and then they were dying, and it just came as a shock. And the owner, um, who also lives here part of the time, she was just crestfallen and was just broken from that loss, and I told her, you probably feel, and maybe you guys can relate to this, like the only person who ever cared about you, or the only person who really showed you love and was there for you is gone now. And I told her that I definitely can relate to that feeling because when my grandmother died, as you guys may or may not know, I was pretty open with you guys about it. Thank you. I appreciate that. She was the only person who, ever really showed me love and made me feel like a worthy Venus, But when she died, it was pretty hard to sort of put things together that this one person that cared about me was gone now, basically had left the world, and it's easy to think when we lose that one person who's so special to us, it's easy for us to be like, oh, well, now that's it for me. Like, no one's ever gonna love me again. No one's ever gonna care about me again like this person did. And I'm here to tell you guys, as I told her, that's not true. It's not true that no one is ever gonna care for you again. That's our mind, kind of playing tricks on us. Q, hello. How are you? So if this is something that you guys can relate to, whether it's been a loss of a pet, or whether it's been a loss of a family member, or whether it's been a loss of a friend who's pretty much like a family member, I'm here to tell you guys that, you're still loved. You're not alone. And I know you feel like you are. And it's a visceral feeling, to be in grief. But it's not true that you're alone, because when I thought that I was alone, I recognized that I still had my higher power. And my higher power showed me, that I wasn't alone and that I'm not going to be alone, because they're still with me. They still care about me. They still want to know about me, I can still talk to them and things when nobody wants to hear anything from me, or if you guys don't watch my videos, or if I get sick and I can't stream, right? It can be lonely, especially if we start comparing ourselves to what other people are doing or what other people have, and that type of thought process. It's so easy to become lonely and to feel like you want to give up and to feel like you're alone in this world. But you guys You aren't, and I'm not. And part of the reason I'm not is because you guys are here and you guys are with me. Are you with me all the time? No, but that's okay. I don't expect that from you. Hopefully, you don't expect that from me because, as we know, Venus doesn't even have a stream schedule. Venus is not that consistent. But I say that to say this is that even though I may love you guys imperfectly, my higher power, or our higher power, which I consider to be our higher power, doesn't love imperfectly. And it can always be there. Where, humans will let us down and will disappoint us and will leave us. Oh, God. And all of this is, sorry, I'm wiping my eyes. All of this is stuff that I told my girlfriend because her dog was literally the only person in her life that she could count on ever. Everyone else she lost. Loved ones, were abusive and things. And so I feel like sharing this today because I know she's not alone in that. And I know that she's not alone in that also because I've been in that situation. Do you guys like my makeshift thumbnail of myself? I dyed my hair rainbow to go with my May-Venus. And May is already almost over. I feel like I didn't stream that much with you guys. We didn't get to play all the games we wanted to play together. And I'm sorry for that. But I have had, some issues come up. At this point, it's like, when don't I have issues come up? You know what I mean? I have issues come up more than I don't have issues come up. But, and I apologize for that. But I've been away because of that. And, yeah, so I just wanted to hop on here and speak to the one, the one person, whoever that is out there, who may or may not, need some comfort, need somebody to listen to them. And who knows, maybe even to read what they say so that they can hear it back to themselves. Sometimes we need that, we need that not only validation, but that time of self-expression. So if I can give that to you guys, Smoke, Q, Lara, then I would like to do that. Also, Lara, just so you know, I made a new VTube video that I think you might like. I don't know when it will be coming out because I suck at editing. I'm terrible at editing video, but I still try. This video that I am releasing has taken me, let's see, I started at 2 p.m. today, and what time is it now? 12. It took me like almost 9 hours to work on this freaking video. And you know what the irony of this is that I worked my butt off on this video. Probably no one is going to watch it. and not even that. But most likely, it's not even like, by the time it comes out and I finish it, probably somebody else who's more famous than me is gonna come out with the same topic video and totally overshadow mine. But I still made it anyway, so I hope that if you guys get a chance, at least you guys get to see it and you get something from it. Q says thank you, the time goes quickly. The time does go quickly, and the thing is too, like, we never know. I mentioned this about somebody's birthday recently, and it's that We never know when somebody's going to go. We never know if our conversation with somebody is going to be our last conversation with somebody. And we don't talk to people like it could be our last conversation with them. Imagine how different life would be and our relationships will be if we started to think of people as, would I want this conversation to have been my last conversation with this person? And I feel like a lot of times if we think of our loved ones that we argue with or that we fight with, if we picture them that they may not be with us, that whatever we said to them would be the last thing they heard from us, I feel like we would be a lot more careful with our words. What do you guys think? Do you think that's true? Do you think no, we would still probably say whatever? How do you guys feel about that? I'm curious to see what your input is on that. Like, have you noticed that or ever thought about that? Maybe it's just me. I'm very weird, you guys. I spend my time thinking about a lot of weird things. And then I come and I talk to you guys about it. Hi, Kitsune. Good to see you. How are you doing? I'm sorry. Is it Kitsoul? Q says that feels very relevant right now. I'm struggling with a recent and unexpected loss. They were just there 1 second and gone the next. Yeah. It's like we don't think about, is this person's last day? What kind of conversation am I having? What kind of, moments am I leaving? Or, hi, Kitzel. Welcome. Hi, Killer. You showed up. How are you doing? Huggies. Q says, I do appreciate that we were always able to express love to each other at the end of our conversations all the same. Yeah, I think that's really important. I think not a lot of people actually do, think about that or try to express love at the end of their conversations with loved ones and friends that they're fighting with, especially. Thank you so much, kids, and I appreciate that. Kidsoul20XX. Silver Lara says, it's also hard if we think like that. We can be paranoid. Yes, absolutely. That's true too. I guess it's just showing love whenever we can. It's good, but it's really hard to comment to it, I think. Yeah, I agree with you on that, Lara. Not being able to show someone we love them when we actually do is when regrets come in. Yeah, and the thing is, when that person passes away, or like in the case of the dog where the dog passed away, and maybe the last words to the dog was not the nicest, or the last words to the friend was not the nicest, or what we really would have wanted to say, we can have those regrets. But I think that there's a learning experience there for us if we're willing to step into that. And it is, if this is this next person's next to me last moments, do I want to end it with animosity and strife and fighting? Or would I want them to go, feeling loved? And I feel like right now, with Q, with Lara, with Killer, with Kitzel, like, I can have that with you guys right now. I can treat you as if you were gonna go, if this was your last moments, would I have wanted to be like, oh no, I don't have time for you right now. I'm too busy for you guys, I wouldn't want you guys to go thinking that, I don't care about you guys or that I'm not here for you guys. So I have been thinking about that a lot. I've been, this death that I just had, it was literally the day before yesterday, they passed. It really made me think about that. Like, and even though in that case it was not a person, it was like a member of the family, because pets, don't sleep on pets, you guys. Pets literally can be like a member of the family. It's just as significant as the death of a human passing away, in my opinion. Lara says, when my dog passed away. Yeah, it's very hard, And so, Q, you actually have something in common with my friend Jessie, who I was just talking to. They too, have had a loss of a friend. Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that, Stella. I appreciate you. Yeah, it really, death and having someone close to us pass away, it really makes us think of, all the moments that we had with them. Not just the good moments, but also the bad moments. You might know each other. Oh, that's cool. Well, his name is Jesse, and I'm guessing your name is Q. But I did give him the link. He said he may stop by. But he's going through it right now. And that's something I definitely can relate to, And I asked him to come and keep me company because I didn't think anybody was going to come and be with me. But it's so nice to see you guys, and it's nice that you guys have come. Killer says, I've always feared death. The funny thing is, I found out after is that I was never afraid of death. I was afraid of being forgotten, and I still am, so I grieve death because I will never know what will happen to me or the other people. Yeah, that's totally true, Killer of the Night. And the thing is, I think it's natural to feel like you might be forgotten. And to be honest, I'll be totally honest with you, when someone passes away, we don't forget about them right away. Even years later, we don't actually forget about them. But what does happen, and this is what I explained to my girlfriend when I was telling her, I was like, I know you feel like this was the only person that was going to ever love you. And that's how I felt too when I lost my grandmother. But that's not true. And not only is that not true, but also she and I and Q and Killer, we will love again. Even Lara, if her dog has passed away, that does not necessarily mean that she will never ever meet another dog that she loves. But in the time of our loss, we often don't think about that, do we? In the time of our loss, we're like, this was the only thing. This was the only person that I have. And it hurts us. It hurts us so much, And we sometimes think, I don't know if I can go on, And I think it's okay that we do think that, But Killer, you might think you're going to be forgotten, but the truth is you won't. Will you be forgotten 30 years later after you've been gone for many, many, many years? Maybe by quote unquote the world, but not by your loved ones. They'll never forget you, because for better or for worse, when it comes to family members, we can't really forget that they existed. We could obviously be distracted. Other things can come to mind. Maybe we get busy, right? Maybe we're not thinking about the dog every single day 2 years later. Maybe we're not so focused on our, our parent or our best friend 5 years later, but we never ever forget them. We simply heal in our own time, and we move forward with them in here in our hearts. Damn it, I don't have my leap motion. I'm moving my hands so much today, you guys, but you can't see it. But we don't forget them. So I don't think, Killer, that you need to be afraid of being forgotten, because it's very likely that you won't be forgotten. And I remember you, and we haven't talked for 2 months. And you haven't been around, right? But I still messaged you. So that is something that you can use as a proof that you're not gonna, there's a very good chance you're not gonna be forgotten, And grief, it's true, Q. Grief can be so blinding, and it's a very hard thing to look past. But I'm coming to the belief that I don't think we need to look past it. I think we force ourselves to move on, quote unquote, sky quotes, and to move forward, and all these things, when we really don't have to. And this might become an unpopular opinion. Put it on Reddit, I guess. But I don't think we need to move on. I think that we do move on in our own time period and on our own time frame. My grandmother has been gone now for more than 1 year, coming up to 1 year. She died on July 25th at 10 o'clock as I was on my way to go see her. But I haven't forgotten her, and I don't forget her. And even though this year has gone by and I've been making VTuber models, I've been getting kind gifts in the mail from Stella, I've had times where I cry and cry and cry in my bed alone and can't even get on my Discord to see people. And I've had other times where I'm just giggling my butt off on stream, right? But even through all those times, good and bad, I don't forget her. And I have not forgotten you guys. And I don't believe that grief is something that we have to get past, or that we have to move on, or that we have to move forward. We use those words, I think, to be able to denote a time of healing, but we're not really just like flippantly forgetting about the person. I don't think that's realistic, and I don't think we should do that. I think only robots can do that. They get erased, their minds are erased, and that's it. They don't remember, no more program, and they're done. Right, Stella? But with us, it just doesn't work that way. We're human, and it's okay to be human. It's okay to feel that grief. It's okay to go through it, knowing that there is going to come a day where it's not hurting, and we're having a happy memory about them. And we're, making new friends. And we're, talking about our previous relationship with them in a happy way, rather than in a sad and crying way. This time where we're grieving and crying, it's okay to do that. We need that. I was very saddened when my girlfriend was making a little dog out of her t-shirt so that she could pretend that her dog was still alive. But I didn't say anything to her about it. I let her do it because I recognized she needs this time, She needs to see, even if that's not her actual dog, she needs to, feel that closeness still. And she maybe is definitely not ready to, put that fake dog away. And I don't think she should have to. Obviously, 7 months from now, if she's still doing that and still talking to the dog, I'm going to be like, okay, babes, we got to have a talk. Let's go look for a therapist for you together. But, in your first weeks, in your first months, in your first year, nobody can tell you, like, it's time to move past it all, or you got to get over this. Because you shouldn't get over it. Your relationship meant something. You mean something, And if you were to pass and you think that people will forget about you, it's not true, because you're so precious. You're so beneficial to this world. You're needed in this world, If you forget that, killer, then clip that, Because that's the truth. Every single one of us that are in this chat room are needed here. We sometimes don't even know why or what we're needed for, and it comes to us later. If you guys told me, Venus, when you're older, you're going to be sharing some things with people about your time now that's going to be so strengthening and empowering for them, I never would have believed you. I would have told you that you were a liar and that you don't know me and that my life is not worth anything, right? Because I was trying to end my life at that time. And when you're 12, you're not that smart. And you try silly methods to do it. But I say that to say this, we don't know, and you guys cannot judge what your own worth is to this world because you don't actually know. So, social media can make you feel very small and insignificant, but that's not the truth. Social media is not the truth. The truth is every single one of us has worth, and it's beyond a dollar amount. Especially because life was given for us so that we could live. And you like my new model? It's been some time since we first met. You know what? I think the last one that you saw, killer, was my February Venus. I believe it was that variation, if I'm not mistaken. But yes, Stella, a time of adjustment is needed. Absolutely. And dogs are the best people, yeah. Well, cats are the best people too. And snakes too. And turtles as well. And some birds. Come to think of it, actually, I don't think I can pick between birds, cats, snakes, dogs, and they all have their place, just like I feel like we all have our place. And we're allowing AI, no offense to you, Stella, but robots and technology to sort of stomp on the things that we find important, that we find precious, that we find cherishing, and that cherish us, like nature. You cannot impose your will on nature. You could try to, but you're gonna get a slap back. Nature is gonna, go crazy on you with a giant tornado or some other thing. But I say that to say this, is that all of us have a purpose, and I strongly believe this. And even though we may be grieving, even though we may have the best time of our lives, whatever space we're in mentally, all we need is time to get through that. And not over it, through it. We need time. Tell that to animal breeders. Some of those animal breeders are jerks. I love the animals, and I don't love the breeders. Some of them are wonderful, but many of them are not. But I think that it's important to recognize that we don't get over stuff. It's not time for us to move past persons or even ourselves. We get through stuff. There was a wonderful picture that I saw once, and I wish I could share it with you guys, where it shows our level of grief and our level of loss in circular motion. And then it shows that the loss doesn't get smaller. The loss stays the same size. The grief stays the same size. But we grow. We grow around it. We grow with it and through it. We get through those things. We don't move on and get over them, because that would denote that they didn't matter, and that's totally not true. These relationships that you guys are built, whether with each other here in the chat, whether offline with friends from your, your town or your neighborhood, whether it's with family members, all of them are precious and should be cherished whenever you can. Obviously, we can't always, And like I said with Q, we do not know when somebody's gonna go, But we can do our best to at the least show appreciation for one another, and also for those people in our lives who sometimes we may be fighting with. Sometimes our last words to them may have been cold or uncaring or thoughtless, And they may treat us however. That's their choice. We don't control them. But we can choose to allow our words and our love to show regardless of, what they choose. Stella says, everything changes despite of human desires to remain the same. Absolutely. Everything changes. And isn't that a beautiful thing? Change is a beautiful thing. I don't think that it's a bad thing. I used to not like change very much, and I would kind of rebel against it. But there were just so much loss and so many changes that I started to realize, I can't fight these changes. I don't have control over any of these things. I might as well give in. I might as well not hold on so tightly, thinking that I can control these things. Because, I couldn't. We can't. Oh, you know what? My salad is here. Let's eat this together. Have you guys heard about sweet kale salad? Do you guys like bowl and basket? Or do you guys know what bowl and basket is? It's a brand from a store. And I've never had this before, by the way. But apparently, sweet kale salad, you would think kale cannot be sweet, but they actually made it sweet because they add a dressing that's a poppy seed type of dressing. You were made in America? You were? I think I was made in America too. I think I've adapted to the cycle. And I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But what I do know is that when you recognize that your life is so short, and you recognize that you only have a certain amount of time in order to do the things that you want to do that are meaningful in the world, you just don't have time to be hating on people, And losing the person who is most important to you in the world definitely puts things into perspective. Even if they had a lot of time, you recognize that you don't have a lot of time. How do I make my live streams with Batman? I actually told Lara that I just made a video on that. If you want to, I can show you how to do that, killer. Q, Have you ever seen any of my other VTuber models? Is this your first time here? I meant to ask you that before. If you guys are watching and you're new and you don't know what it is I do, I'm going to give you a quick overview. 1, I'm an advice VTuber. I give advice on things like breakups, 12-step, working through grief, working through addiction, all kinds of motivation related advice, and abuse and depression. That's one side of me. The other side is I give advice to VTubers and streamers on tips and tricks that I learned through the biz, you know. I make VTubing tutorials. I write music. I create 3D models, as this one that you see here. You invited me to the stream from another channel. I've got a J name? What? Wait. Q? Are you also called Jesse somewhere else? 'Cause I didn't know that you were Jesse, and so I mentioned maybe you guys could talk to each other because you had something in common. But if you are Jesse, then of course you have it in common because it's you. I'm trolled. I love it. Oh, Q. I mean, Jesse. Do you want me to call you Q, or is it okay if I call you Jesse here? Killer says, I actually thought you died when you changed from Wing Venus to to Bat Venus. Yeah, the thing is, I go through these deaths, and then I'm never to be seen again. Or I have been seen, but the thing is, with my VTuber lore, I'm resurrected into another body. And so I have to learn everything all over again and try to remember all the lessons that I learned and then hopefully teach some of them to you guys. Whichever. I appreciate the stream. I appreciate you. I'm glad that you came by. And the reason that I asked you to come to this stream was because I'm not going to lie. I don't expect a lot of people to come to my streams, even though, you know, I would love for that to happen. They're very personal, you know, and a lot of the things that I talk about, I think a lot of people don't like or they don't want to listen to it, you know. People who, there's a very specific, I think, type of person that my type of content speaks to, and I'm happy about that. I don't have any you know, issues with that. But that's why I asked you to come, because it's like a one-on-one, you know. We could talk about what you're going through and how you're feeling in the chat, and I can read what you're saying and ask you questions, because there's, you know, the chat's not going that fast. I'm no Iron Mouse, you know, where I can barely read the screen because there's so many messages. It's very personal, and I think that's a good thing, you know. I personally, you know, like to connect with you guys, and sometimes obviously I get the hell away from you guys because sometimes I don't want to be with you guys, but I tell you that and I let you know, like, hey, I'm in pain, or hey, I can't be with you guys, or hey, let's get together a different time. But many of the times I want to connect with you guys. I want to catch up with you. The Killer of the Night says, my biggest dream is to be famous. That used to be mine. So I can relate to that, Killer. But I can promise you that even if you become famous, over time, you will be forgotten. And the thing is, the same thing I said applies. The people who won't forget you is people like me, people like your loved ones, your family, your friends. Those people are never going to forget you. Random people that, know about you from some magazine, they're going to forget you. And the reason that they're going to forget you, not obviously during the time you're alive, but when you pass, they're going to forget about you because they're going to move forward. They're going to be thinking about other things. And then they'll remember you and they'll be like, yeah, we remember Killer of the Night. What amazing songs he wrote, But then they will be distracted by something else. And I think that's the nature of us, I think that's the nature of, even sadly, I would even go as far as to say this society right now. It's very easy to be forgotten now because especially by, the general public, if we're talking about that, Killer, because they have such short attention spans, they don't remember things. They get distracted. They don't know how to focus. Gen Alpha is not very good at focusing, and I don't think we should expect them to because they haven't really been taught that. And so, yeah, I don't think you're going to be forgotten. But I do think, too, that your drive to be famous, whatever it is that you're looking to or that you think will fulfill you when you become famous, I can promise you, as somebody who has actually had some level of fame, your problems will not go away. And the things that you think will be fulfilled won't. Many, many people who have become famous have talked about this phenomenon. They have become famous, they have gotten money, they have gotten a better lifestyle, but they did not get happiness. They did not get peace. They did not get fulfillment. They don't get the same type of joy, that you get when you recognize how to fill your own cup, if that makes sense. You want to become something to motivate and encourage people for good? I feel like you're already doing that. Do you not notice that you're already doing that? Because you totally are. You've been trying to increase their attention spans. You can't. That's one of the things I was talking about, is like where we focus our energy about, like, when we lose things and what we can control versus what we can't control. We can't control somebody else's attention span. There's literally no way to do that. And by trying to do that, we lose out. We start to feel bad about ourselves. We start to think, oh, am I not worth, these people's attention? And that's not true. It simply is that we're fighting something when it comes to attention span that we don't have any control over. So if I could give you a tip, if you want one, if you don't want one, type it in the chat and I won't give it to you. But I have a tip for how to deal with that type of situation. And it's generally, I would say, well received, but sometimes people don't really want to listen to it. But when they have, the people who have listened to it, they have gotten a lot of freedom from that. And they didn't have the need, after what I told them, they didn't have the need to continue, holding on and getting frustrated and, all this type of stuff. So if you ever want to know more about that, I would love to share that with you. Why would I not want one? Oh, okay. I will share it then. So the idea is, whenever you feel that you're getting frustrated, whenever you feel like you want this one thing so badly, but for some reason it feels elusive. Even if it's related to a person, even if it's related to a job thing, or whatever it is. The idea is to let go. Let go of the outcome. You don't have to let go of the person. You don't have to let go of the job. You only have to let go of the idea that you have of the result, and be open to whatever else it is that's going to be brought to you. Does that make sense? In 12-step, we say, let go and let God. Not everyone believes in God, but the letting go part can still apply. It could be let go and let your HP, a higher power, right? The concept between let go and let God is basically that we recognize that there's other things that are outside of our control, but that could be via it. And yes, let go, but it's let go and it's not let go, but let go cause. It's let go and, meaning you're doing something about it. It's still an active action. It's not like you're just giving up and saying, fuck it, I let go, and you go away angry and things. I used to handle it like that, so that's why I laugh about it now. But let go and let God basically means, whatever it is, I want to be famous, or I want to encourage people for good, or I want to change people's attention spans, or I really want my neighbor to clean up their fucking mess, or I really want, my boss to stop making me work late, and, all this type of stuff. We generally, that's totally fine. I didn't either. This is new for me as well. So I get that. You don't have to believe in God to use that as a motto. You could also say, let go and let my HP. Whatever that HP is, aka higher power. I'm typing all this in the chat. But it's recognizing that there is a power at work greater than yourself, whatever it is that you may believe in. Your HP might be a tree. Your HP might be your future self. Your HP could be a ton of things. I believe Jesse can talk about that, because Jesse had a conversation with me about the HP situation. And so all it means basically, killer, even if you don't believe in God, is that recognizing I do not have power over this thing. There is something greater than me that has my best in mind that does have power over this thing. So I'm going to let go. Does that make sense? It's a choice. It's an action. It's not you're the victim of something. It's not, you're doing this out of a frustration because you're giving up. It's actually the opposite. It's strong to be able to let go and say, I'm going to give this up because I do not have control over this. I'm going to instead focus my energy on what I do have control over. Does that make sense? So as you can see, even if you don't necessarily believe in God, or maybe you don't believe in God right now, right? We don't know the future. Whatever it is, when you're choosing to make that action of letting go, you're not necessarily giving up on your dream. You're not necessarily giving up on what you want. What you're doing is you're letting go of the idea that you can control the outcome of this thing, or of this person, or of this neighbor, or of this relationship that's not working out, or of, becoming a famous musician. There is a part that you do control, right? And so that part is the part that you would focus on, and the other part is the part that you let go. So it sounds simplified, And it sounds a lot easier than it is, which obviously I'm here to help you if, you're struggling with that. If you're like Venus, I'm trying to let go and let HP, but, it's not working out and I'm breaking down and I need to talk about it, right? Those times will come, but as you practice doing it, it's going to get easier. Keeler says, I just want my family to be happy. They have had a rough time, and I believe my fame will bring riches and riches I can give them. For sure. But there's things you can probably give them now, which you're overlooking, things that are within your control, which you might be sort of invalidating and not think is as important as these riches. When for them, they could be a life-changing situation and be able to feel closer to you and connected to you, right? There might be some things that you could be doing now for your family. Hi, Brandon. Good to see you. How are you doing? That are maybe under the surface and just that you haven't thought of them yet. There's a lot of ways which we can give back to people and give to people in thoughtful ways that we don't necessarily need money for. The world tells us that we need money for all these things. And don't get me wrong, we do need money for some things. But we don't only need money. It's not money that solves all of our problems. What can also solve our problems is by us taking an active part right inside of our lives and our relationships and with the people right around us. You're doing all right, B? We were talking about loss and death before you came in, and now we're talking about the idea of letting go. I don't want to be a failure, and I'm being a failure right now. I failed my college, and I'm in a situation. She wants me to keep studying, and I don't have the funds. What about possibly applying for tuition? Assistance with tuition may or may not be available in your college. College is very, very expensive. College is not cheap for anyone except for very, very well-off people. Most people go into debt and they're going to be paying off their college fund for probably their whole lives. They don't really tell you that in the brochure. But, it's going to happen. So you may or may not end up going into debt. But that doesn't make you a failure. I think a lot of times, there's many, many inventors and creative people and artists and scientists and doctors and IT technicians and people who think that they failed, but really they're not failing, they're learning. Your GP is not high? Your younger years? You're traumatized? Yeah. I get that. I totally can relate to that. Even though I ended up having a 4.0 GPA, I did not start out that way. I too had trauma, and I basically was in many situations where I couldn't even afford to stay in college. One of the things I actually ended up doing, which was very surprising to me, to raise money for my books, was I had a pretty tough high school. I got bullied and a lot of situations in high school that was not good. And I don't know why I did this, but back when I was using Facebook, I don't use Facebook now, but I remember making a post, and I had added a couple people from my high school, even people that I wasn't friends with. Facebook was weird like that. I made a post about college, I wrote about, feeling like a failure. I wrote about the fact that I was trying to work and put myself through college, and I really just kind of was very vulnerable in this post, this Facebook post. And I asked my entire high school for $1. And I didn't think anybody, would give me $1 or even want to help me anything, because I wasn't popular in high school. Nobody knew who I was. I was, a little nobody, But for some reason, these same people were able to relate to my situation with wanting to go to college, wanting to better myself, not having the money, and really trying. I was really trying to actually raise money on my own. And I wrote about that too in the post. I was like, whatever you give me, I'll be able to give it back to you. It's not like I'm just asking you for this for free without, seeing this as a transaction. But many of the people sent me money so that I could stay in college for that semester, so that I could buy books. So I say that to say this, Killer, to you, is that you're not a failure. You're learning. And part of learning is making mistakes. If you think that making mistakes is the thing that makes you a failure, you're wrong. A failure is somebody who has tried something one time, maybe 2 times, and gave up. A failure is someone who's accepting that they're not trying to move forward. That's failing. But if you're making mistakes and you're still trying and you're still doing music and you're still, studying in college and doing the best you can, and your GPA is maybe not going up as high as you want it to be, that's not a failure. That's you learning. And I don't know, who raised you or how they made you believe about failure, but learning and asking questions and not knowing stuff doesn't make you a failure. It literally makes it that you are learning. And I think that, you shouldn't give up on yourself. And I won't let you. I'll remind you. Because GPAs can be raised. Especially, I know the trick to getting your GPA up. And nobody should quote me on this. I will delete this from the VOD. But what I did was, when I took a class and I wasn't passing that class, or I didn't like that class and I knew that it was not going to have any benefit towards me, I quit the class. I didn't let them fail me. I didn't let them even give me a B. I had a B in accounting. And I was like, what the fuck is this shit? I'm not going to stay in this class. And I dropped out. And I took another class that I got an A in. So I'm just saying that to say this, is that you're in a place right now where you're learning. And I don't think you should be calling yourself a failure because of it. Stella says, people won't approve of everything you do. Your failures doesn't make you a failure unless you keep repeating the same mistakes. Absolutely. We should pin that. Let's pin that, Stella. Do we know how? I don't actually know how. I don't know anything about YouTube, you guys. I don't get to spend as much time here as I would like to. I would love to stream on here. But the thing is, I don't really know much about it. I'm very, very new to YouTube. Q says, that sounds wise. You think so, Q? I wonder if that's something that maybe can help you as well in your situation. And actually, if I'm not mistaken, Jessie/Q, is a great person to talk to about college and going back to college, because Jessie has. And Jessie was able to recently graduate after, having had taken a hiatus and everything. Jesse could have been like, yeah, I'm a failure and all this, but no, he kept on going. And I think that you should talk to him, Killer, about that. Stella says, I'm still learning, sadly. So am I. And the thing is, I feel like we're always going to be learning. We're going to be failing when we stop wanting to learn. We're going to be failing when we're just like, well, this is all I can do. This is all I can be. And then we just do nothing, That's failing. Giving up and stopping permanently is failing. Stopping temporarily is not failing. Stopping temporarily is learning. And sometimes it's self-care. Right, Jessie? We've talked about that a couple of times, huh? So I'm eating this sweet kale salad, you guys, and I'm loving this. I never would have thought that I would want this yucky kale, but it's delicious. I'm forcing myself to eat new foods. So next week is something called kohlrabi. I don't know what it's going to taste like. I don't even know if I'm going to like it. But I want to change the inside of my body. And in order to change my gut biome, and this is a little health aside, I bet you guys didn't know this about me, but I know a lot about health stuff. In order to change my gut biome, I have to add foods that I haven't been eating and different foods so that different types of bacteria will grow inside me. And I want that because the more diverse that my gut biome is, the easier it is to lose weight, the easier it is to go to the bathroom and not have constipation, and also the easier it is to go after my health. And so many of you know that a lot of times I don't stream because, I have a lot of different sicknesses and things, and I'm struggling with a lot of illnesses. But I try to take it as it comes, I try to do what's still within my power. And I feel like the more that you guys also focus on, what is still in my control, what is still in my influence, as much, and then less focusing on what's not in my control, what's not under my influence, the happier you'll be, and also the more fulfilled you'll feel. Rather than feeling like a failure, you'll see a bunch of achievements because your focus is on things that you actually can control and be a part of. Does that make sense? Killer of the Night says, not sure if my family would approve. Sure, they would approve. And plus, they don't even have to know about it. If you're over the age of 18, Killer, you don't have to tell them about it. Yeah. That's a big one. Any advice you could speak to about combating isolation and loneliness has been a heavy burden. We have so much anxiety, don't we? As a nation right now, many of us, not just Jesse, feel isolated and lonely. If you look on social media, a place where everybody should be super happy and not lonely, everybody's like, I feel lonely. I want to make friends, but I don't know how. I feel isolated. A lot of that isolation literally comes from the fact that we're not active in the lives of others around us. And sometimes we're scared to do that. And sometimes we're not active because of illness. And sometimes we're not active because we don't know how. Kohlrabi and stir fry. I was thinking about, yes, possibly in stir fry, but maybe raw. If I can eat it raw, I don't know if I can. It might be something that I have to cook. But if you got a recipe, hand it over, Stella. I'm down to try it. But I say that to say this, is that regardless of the reason of why you're isolated, and Anti-social media. Yeah, that's really... I'm definitely about being the anti-social media. Because I feel like we need spaces, we need to create spaces where people can meet again. And we haven't been doing that. And a lot of people, I think, are afraid to do that, or they're just not really used to how to do that anymore. I hate to say it, but this situation with COVID really messed a lot of people up. And it almost made us like, those people in the movie WALL-E? Have you guys seen the movie WALL-E? Movie to watch this week. WALL-E. If you haven't, the people in WALL-E were isolated and they were lonely, but they didn't know it. They constantly kept themselves distracted. They didn't actually talk to people, so they forgot how to. They forgot how to get out of the chair. They forgot how to walk around on their own. Their legs got bigger. Their arms got bigger. You did see WALL-E? Okay, Brandon, so you can describe it in the chat for us. So they were isolated and they were lonely, but they were lonely because they were isolated. And the great thing about isolation, especially right now that we don't have restrictions from the government, is that we can stop that isolation by taking steps forward to meet new people. Is it going to be easy? No, it's not. But should we still do it? Yes, we should. Are we going to like everybody that's out there? No, we won't. But we don't have to, because it's not you will live in your pod, own nothing, eat bugs, and be happy. Oh my gosh, Stella. I read that. I read that whole thing by Charles Schwab. I actually have the PDF. If you guys are interested in reading it, I will put it in the chat for you guys. It is horrifying what the powers that be, who have so much money, what they want to do with us and how they see us, and how they want to shape our lives. And we're letting them when we stay isolated, when we stay lonely. This is the link for anybody who wants to read what Stella and I are talking about or quoting here. Let me post it in the chat for us. It's terrible. Oh, that's me. Okay, sorry about that, you guys. Okay, so check that out, you guys. If you ever get some time, read that. And let me know if you still want to stay, with those COVID restrictions. If you want to not fight back. Because there is going to be an element of courage that you guys are going to need to have to remove that isolation and to remove that loneliness. You don't have to be lonely. There is millions of people out there desperate to talk to you, desperate to talk to anyone, but they're not talking to each other. And that doesn't need to be the case. You just have to take a step forward. I know it's scary, and I know that it's not going to be something necessarily that, you feel is going to become easy to you right away. But over time, it will actually become easier. At first, it wasn't easy for the people in WALL-E to even get out of their chair. They didn't know how to walk. They didn't have bones. They just had these, slabs of fat on them. Right? Do you guys remember WALL-E? Am I the only person who's seen WALL-E? The world needs to see WALL-E because we're going in that direction. And we haven't even left the planet. So I say that to say this. if you want to combat isolation and loneliness, you have to actively put yourself in places where there are people. You have to actively get outside of your head and focus on other people and their needs as well as yours. Sharing them, not necessarily doing everything for somebody else or just focusing on somebody else, but finding that balance between, yeah, I'm going through this. Yeah, I feel this way. But let me ask some questions to this person. Let me see how this person is doing today. Let me step outside of my comfort zone and go and, talk to the elderly. There is a large group of people who are basically being ignored by society right now, and that is the chronically ill, the elderly, the homeless, children, usually under the age of 15, and I'm forgetting the other group. But I say that to say this: talk to them, and you won't be lonely. Share your food. If you're getting DoorDash, have DoorDash with somebody else, and you won't be lonely. That isolation basically comes from us being inside of ourselves, inside of our own heads. Because you can go outside. We can now go outside. Today, I went outside. This is kind of personal to you guys, but I've been having some issues with, my gut, as I was mentioning. And I was walking, and I was walking down the street. And as I was walking down the street, a woman came outside. I saw her, and I didn't have to say hi to her, but I did say hi to her. And I smiled at her. She said hi to me, and she smiled at me. And I mentioned something to her that made her smile more. And I think it was something like, she said, we were talking about the weather. And I was like, thank goodness that I came out today, or else I wouldn't have seen you. I might have missed your beautiful face. That's what I said to her. And I was like, how fortunate, that I was walking down here, and that you were coming out at the same time. I was like, I hope you have a wonderful day, and I hope I see you soon. That's it. I didn't have to have an hours-long conversation with this woman, because when I see her the next time, I will try to talk to her longer, right? I'll ask her questions about herself. I'll ask her about her house. Maybe she'll ask me about my walk. Relationships start in the most simplest ways. Does that make sense, you guys? You don't have to be lonely if you're willing to open up your scope of people that you let in. Venus has Riz confirmed. What? No, I don't. Me talking to that lady is not Riz. But I say that to say this. Once you step outside of your comfort zone, and I know it's going to be scary at first, and I'll be with you. If you don't want to be by yourself and you're going to go out and you want to have somebody there like on the phone who's going to push you to get off the phone and talk to people, I'll be that person, just ask me. But you can slowly but surely get outside your comfort zone and speak to the people who are largely ignored around you. How many people with chronic illness would love to have an hour-long conversation about anything besides their illness, or have somebody even just listen to them vent about their illness? They want that. They need that, and there's nobody doing that. Literally no one. That's why they go on social media to do it, because they don't have anybody in their real life that's actually listening to them. You could be that person. The elderly in the homes, they're being treated badly. They're being invalidated. Many times they want to talk about their past. They want to talk about the lives they've led, or what they're doing now. And they don't even have their family to talk to. You know, their family doesn't even necessarily go visit them many times. How happy would they be if you did? You know, and you brought food. Oh, what's your favorite food? Kohlrabi serve fry? Okay, let's bring some to them. You know, let's share some of our plenty with those who don't have anything. The homeless would love to sit there and have a conversation and listen about your life and how lucky you are. You don't think you're lucky, but a homeless person will think you're pretty lucky. You're over there, killer, thinking you're a failure, but somebody who's homeless might not think you're a failure. They might be looking up to you, if anything. But you'll never know if you don't talk to them, you know, if you don't give them a chance. And society is not giving these people a chance. Society is largely ignoring people that are suffering and that are lonely right in front of them. You go on the bus and everybody's on their phone. Why? They could be talking to each other and then they won't feel lonely. You see somebody on the train, if they're on their phone, don't be on your phone. Try to talk to them, you know. So that's just a couple of, you know, methods that you can use when you're feeling like that. You know, how to step outside of yourself. What kind of questions you can ask people. Because questions is how we get to know people. Saying hi and smiling at people is how we meet people. I know that some of you guys don't know that anymore, and that's unfortunate that that's the case. But that is how you meet people. You have to talk to them. You have to be vulnerable. And some of you guys, you know, are afraid to be vulnerable. And I don't think you need to be, because you have a lot to offer this world. You know, it's okay to be vulnerable. And it's okay if they tell you, hey, I don't want to talk right now. Maybe they'll want to talk later on. Maybe your smile is making somebody's day. You just don't know. We don't know what other people are going through unless we actually ask them. So many people just assume stuff about everybody and everything without asking any questions and confirming if it's even true. Don't be that person. And I can assure you, you won't feel lonely for long. You will not feel isolated either, because you'll be surrounded by people, new people. If you open your idea of who's allowed into your life, if you open that up just a little bit and allow new people into your life, I promise you, you won't be lonely or feeling isolated for very long. And obviously, if you are feeling lonely, when you are feeling lonely, let me know too. You can tell me. If I'm streaming, come and tell me. But if I'm not streaming, tell me anyway. The humans in Wall-E were slabs of long pork on hover players. Stella, slabs of long pork. They did look like slabs of long pork technically, because it was a different time for animation. But what had happened was they basically lost their legs. They didn't lose their legs. They lost all the bones in their legs and in their arms because they weren't using them anymore. And they were like out of shape. They were out of practice with how to talk to each other. And there's a scene in Wall-E where they meet each other. They only met each other because they fell on each other, literally. But they didn't know how to talk to each other. So little Wall-E is there like, hi, I'm Wall-E. And then the one guy's like, hi, I'm John, I think. He didn't even remember his name because he had not been introducing himself. And then another person heard him and said, hi, I'm so-and-so. I forget the girl's name. But actually, I don't even think the guy's name was John. But anyway, my point is, it doesn't matter what their names was. What matters is they ended up learning from Wall-E how to say hi, how to talk to each other again. And that's what we got to do. There's like so many kids out there who would benefit from having any public space to go to rather than be on games and watching violence and porn and all these things on the media and on cable and things and on the internet. These kids need to go outside. They need to learn how to speak to another person, how to converse, how to focus, right? This is Gen Alpha that I was talking about before. Like, how much would it benefit them if there was even one or two adults trying to make new spaces for kids to meet, to be with each other, or even to be with other people that are older than them, maybe to learn from them, like mentors. All this type of stuff, like the singles community, there used to be a singles community. There isn't anymore because people don't have any place to go. And nobody seems to be wanting to be the trailblazer to create that place in their own town. You guys can be the person. You guys can be the trailblazer. You don't have to be lonely. You just have to start taking new chances. Does that make sense, Jesse and Killer? Brandon says, yes, it's a great movie. I got partnered with Dobby Energy. Brandon, is that all you've been talking about? Are you absolutely in love with this Dobby Energy thing? Noctalin, hello. We were just talking about isolation and loneliness, something that you and me have been talking about. You want to chime in on that? Combating isolation and loneliness? Talon and I have had this conversation more than one time. And a couple of times we've talked about different ways that he can start to meet people, also girls. And because Talon also wants to meet girls as well. He's not necessarily just looking for friends, right, Talon? It's hard to do. It is hard to do. I am not going to say it's easy. It is hard to do. But that's why, if it's hard for you, I want to help you do it. Until it's not hard for you. At first, it's going to be hard. But if you're not alone, and you have somebody next to you, giving you advice, egging you on, giving you things to say to start you out, right? And then letting you go and doing your thing, it gets easier. Once you've done it the first couple times, you'll be able to remember the experience of how you did it, and you can tweak things here and there. You can learn things from every single person that you try to talk to, and how that conversation goes. Brandon, here's my sock. Be free. Brandon, Estella is thinking that you're trapped by Dobby energy. I'm just kidding, Brandon. I think Stella's kidding too, but yeah. Am I late? No, you're not late. I just wanted to catch you up on what we were actually talking about. A lot of times when people come in, I like to let them know like what we're actually talking about so that they can join us if they want to, or decide, I don't want to talk about that or whatever. Play with the NPCs in God's MMO. Exactly. And for those that don't believe in God's MMO, the HP's MMO. Right, Stella? Oh. I think I bit into a Brussels sprout. What the hell? Oh, gosh. Talon says, There was a walking fundraiser that starts tomorrow, but I decided not to go because they start early in the morning. Oh, that sounds wonderful. Why not try to get up early in the morning? You don't want to? Or you think you're not going to like the fundraiser? But see, that's what I mean. It's like you're going to a fundraiser. That's awesome, you know? Those are all good starts to how to meet people. Any type of public event, especially nowadays, that's happening. Try to be at that event. Try to go to that event and just sometimes you don't even have to say hi. Sometimes you just have to be there and someone will come up to you and say hi. You're not a morning bird? I'm not a morning bird either. But I will say I'm becoming a morning bird by choice. I've started waking up a little bit earlier. As you guys know, I was waking up at 5 p.m. But now I'm doing like this weird little 9:30 to 10:30 thing. And it's weird for me, but it's also good because I try to be up during the daytime so that I can do things where I can meet people and be out, you know. When I wake up at 5 p.m., everybody's like, when I'm just getting started, everybody's going to sleep, you know. And so I end up not meeting anybody. I end up not doing anything. But I'm forcing myself. Like, that's the thing, guys. I don't just give this advice to you guys and then I'm doing my own thing. I give this advice to you guys and I'm doing it too. Like, I also, you know, recognize that I can be isolated and lonely if I don't step outside of my own comfort zone. So I'm not just telling you this and being like, yeah, you should do this, but I'm not going to do it. No, I'm doing it too. I want to do it. And that's why I'm saying it's not easy to do, but it can be done. You just you gotta take the step, you know. Stella says, go play the great MMORPG called Real Life. Meet players. Build real life guilds. Learn from higher level players. Take non-work real life side quests. That's exactly it, Stella. If that's how you need to see it, Jessie, then look at it that way. Look at it as though you're meeting other players. You're building real life guilds. You're learning from other higher level players. And you take side quests. And probably even going out to a dance event or some type of park event or even holding events at the park. Those are like real life guild building and real life side quests. But we have to take the chance because people are not going to come to us. They don't know that we are lonely. They don't know that we're isolated. They're so focused on themselves. They're so focused on themselves, and then you're focused on yourself, and then you guys are alone when you don't have to be. Just stop focusing on yourselves. Focus on each other. Even direct that, you know, see that you guys are in each other's presence, which is a start, and take it from there. You know, even I even go to like restaurants and I'll see people on their phone. Like, why? Why are you on your phone? You guys are literally next to each other. Talk to each other. Don't talk to your phone. Your phone is not going to give you back anything. It's literally, it's not even created for you. It's created by companies to do bad shit to you. Like, don't be on your phone. Talon says, I feel pressured to be with other people, but I don't form connections that easily. Nobody does. Nobody forms connections that easily these days, Talon. You're not alone in that. But just like you're scared to form connections with people, they're scared to form connections with you too. You guys are in the same place. You can talk about that. Oh, it's so awkward. I want to have a conversation with you, but I don't know how anymore. Isn't that crazy? And right there, you guys are forming a connection. Because they'll be like, yeah, it is crazy. I don't know how either. As long as you guys relate to each other, that's a start. You don't have to push it. You don't have to become best friends, you know. Stella says, if you're that self-centered, get to know the elderly players so you're there for the loot drops. Exactly. This year, I'm all about getting to know the elderly players. I want to know them. I want to know their stories. I want to meet the people in my town. I'm tired of being perpetually online when there's nothing there for me. There is nothing on social media, you guys. I post on social media, obviously, to tell you guys that I'm going live or to share something with you guys because I can't see you. But if I could see you, I wouldn't be on social media. If we all lived nearby each other, I don't think any of us would. We probably would just be hanging out together, talking about this. It's a big step for you. And why is that, Brandon? Because it's your first sponsorship? How do you feel about that? I'm happy for you if it's a big step for you. Where's the little party thing? Let me see if I can find it. Woo, Brandon! Do you see my little party thing? Hey. Big steps are good. I think it's great. You very happy about it? I know, you've been talking about it a lot. I'm happy for you. I don't know what it is, but I'm happy that you're happy about it. It's very cool. But yeah, I hope that gives you guys a little bit of maybe even a direction. Hopefully some comfort, because like I said, I mean what I say, and I would like to be there for you guys if you do end up trying to take those steps. And also, you know, some way to take this, you know, some new perspective on isolation and loneliness, you know. You'll send me a link later. Oh, I'm not accepting links though, Brandon. Some stuff is happening with Discord right now. I don't even want to get into it or I'm going to get depressed. Discord is literally being hacked everywhere. That's all I'm going to say. Venus, will we ever see you again? No, I don't think you guys will. Because this Venus is going away in literally 8 days. So no, you guys will never see me again. But if you guys want to, I can show you a picture of May Venus from last year's resurrection. Time to move to Gilded? Yeah. Time to move to the Guild. Remember the Guild, Stella? Did you ever see that show? Okay, who here is into MMOs so much that they've watched the Guild on YouTube? Rebirthed again? Yes, June Venus Actually, I'm in the process right now of writing her lore. I haven't really decided what she's gonna wear or what she's gonna look like, but great show. I loved it. It was so good. Should we have a night in the server where we watch The Guild? At least one episode, you guys? I feel like we should at least give it a chance. Even though it's older, it's super funny and super awesome. And I feel like only people who play MMOs can truly relate to it, though. That's how niche it was. It was so niche that literally most of its audience was people who played MMOs. Especially World of Warcraft. Right, Stella? Did you ever play World of Warcraft, Stella? So who's V's non-woke doctor who confirmed? Am I the non-woke Doctor Who? I do like that as a nickname. You're very pissed off after going out? What happened? What happened, Talon? Why do you feel pissed off? Are you feeling pissed off because you went out and you didn't get the thing that you were expecting? Or are you feeling pissed off because something that happened when you went out? Because I think those are two very different things, and their differences mean something. If you went out there with expectation that it was going to go a certain way, and then it doesn't, then we have to go back to the let go and let God. That's the type of situation where let go and let God fits in perfectly. I don't have any control over what happened to me when I was out, but I went out. And that's a win. It only started in 2014, but you dabble. I think that's when I started it too. Or 2017. No, I started it. I was playing WoW and watching the guild in 2017. But I started playing WoW like I was a baby playing WoW. I'm playing WoW like 2006 or something. It's like, no. How old is WoW? Let me check. When did World of Warcraft even come out? World of Warcraft? Oh, 2004? Okay, no. Yeah, around 2017 or so. I believe I started it somewhere in 2006 or 2007-ish. But 2014 was... Brandon, what year did we play? Brandon and I actually played WoW together. Every day, right, Brandon? We had so much fun. Talon says that emotion just conjured up inside me whenever I go out. Why do you think that is, though, Talon? That's not for no reason. There has to be a reason why that's happening. Oh, you know what? I don't have a redeem, you guys, for me to go to BRB. But my body is calling and I must listen. So hold that thought. I'm going to find a song for us. Talon, don't forget to answer my question in the chat. I will be right back, you guys. And consider what I said. Let me pick a song here. Jesse, do you want to pick a song? Or Stella, do you want to pick a song? Gosh, I don't have any idea what song it should be. I need help, you guys. What about what about, oh gosh, this is gonna go before I end up having to. Guys, I need a song. I feel that other people are better than me and it makes me angry. Okay, we're gonna talk about this when I come back. Hold that thought. Whatever one of my hits, I don't have any hits right now. Oh, you know what? I do have one hit actually. Okay, I'll play one, you guys. I'll play one. This was a hit. Everybody loved this song. I don't know why they love this song, but they did. Let me see if I can find it. Okay, you guys listen to my song and I'll be back. Don't go anywhere. I'm back, you guys. Thank you. Thank you for being patient with me. Okay. So before we left on the break, Talon says, I feel other people are better than me. And that makes me angry. Well, we can break down why you think people are better than you. And then once you can recognize why you think that, where you got that belief, then you can also possibly tackle not feeling angry when you go out. It's a step-by-step process. You don't have to just stop being angry. What would be better for you is to find out why you're angry. So maybe we can talk about that. Maybe you can think about, what is it that makes me think when I go out that other people are better than me? What do they do? What do they say if they say something? How do they look at me? Do they look at me a certain way? Do I think they're looking at me a certain way, right? These are the kinds of questions that we can ask ourselves. Or should I say, you can ask yourself, and anybody else in the chat who may feel this way, so that you can unpack, why does that end up happening to me only when I go out? Because when you're home, you don't feel like people are better than you. Why? What's the difference between when you go out and when you're staying at home? Is there a certain way that you are at home that you're not when you're out? Do you act a certain way when you go out, right? So thinking about things in this sort of analytical way can actually help you to figure out not only why you get angry, but also maybe if you're justified in that anger. Maybe you have feelings about, the way people are acting out there, or where you think they should be acting. And then if you think they should be acting a certain way and they're not, you can come to recognize, do I have control over these people? Am I okay with not having control? Because you don't see them? What do you mean you don't see them? They're outside. You mean you get mad because there's not people outside? Is that what you're saying? If so, I can understand that. Right now, there isn't a lot of people outside. That's the thing. They need to actually come to the conclusion to go outside, kind of like what you're doing, but you're ahead of them in that sense. Because you're going out and you're taking a chance before they even know that they have to. You don't see them at home? Okay, but that's how vague. That's so vague, Talon. I know you don't see them at home, but what you want to ask yourself is why when you go out, why do you get mad? I know you don't see them at home, but that's not why you're getting angry. You're not getting angry because you don't see them at home. There's something else possibly tied to that maybe you don't yet recognize. Is that a possibility? Have you ever thought about it that way? So I'll give you an example. I went to the hospital like I do because I'm always there. And I had pain, which came on very suddenly in my shoulder. It was so painful. I think it was a dislocation of my shoulder blade. Or possibly the rotator cuff. Not 100% sure. But I was in a lot of pain. I was crying. I was desperate. I was asking everybody for even just one Advil or possibly an Excedrin, anything they had in their pockets. I literally went to every single person. Hi, Urumu. Nice to see you. Which one do you want me to call you? Arumu, alkaloid, or hexaalchemia? What's better? So I'm going there to each single person and I'm begging them and I'm begging the nurses and everybody around me for just anything to get through this pain. No one helped me. They saw me crying, they saw me suffering, and they ignored me. It was very invalidating. I was angry too that I went out. I was angry at the people at the hospital. I was angry that they weren't talking to each other and that they were on their phone. But I didn't take it out on them. And when I got home, I recognized I don't control any of those people. I can only make a difference in my life and in my choices, even though they invalidated me, even though they treated me terribly there. At the hospital, where I'm supposed to get care, I was definitely not getting care. And not only were the doctors and the nurses ignoring me in pain, crying, but also the people were. And I know one of those fucking people probably had a headache pill or something for pain, even in their pockets or in their pocketbook, something. But no one cared. And I could have been like, that's it. I'm not going out anymore. I'm not going to meet anybody anymore because this is how they are out there. But I haven't done that, Talon. And I was able to meet this nice woman today because I haven't done that. Does that make sense? That anger that you have may or may not be justified, but it does not have to hold you back. You have the choice. And how are you doing today, Aru? I feel like I saw you at the other stream, actually. If you're just coming in, we're talking about isolation and loneliness and how to combat that. We're also talking about the life MMO relatability, relating life to a multi-player online RPG game. Have you ever played an MMO? Aru, are you still there? Yes, greedy players holding on to their healing items. I was like, what the hell? Do these people really just don't care anymore? Like, is this what has happened to the world? They see somebody in pain and they just go on their phone? Like, it made me angry. You know, I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys I was super happy about it. I was hurting. I was crying. It was probably one of the most painful experiences of my last year. I can't even do painful experiences of my life anymore because I have so much freaking pain moments. That literally pain is just a part of my existence, you know? There's the worst pain ever, and then I think that's really bad, and then there's more pain. So it's like I can't even say like, oh, it was the worst pain in my life, because it wasn't, because I've been in pain so many different times. But I was in so much pain, and I would think that somebody would have compassion, but they didn't. You played an MMO game? And which one was it, Aru? Killer says, Venus, once I reach 1K, I'm going to go live on BandLab. You know what, Killer? I don't think you should wait. There is absolutely no reason for you to wait for 1K to go live on BandLab. I think we should do a stream together and you go live right now with your followers that you have right now, however many it is. Hi, Yoko. No, don't say bye, my brother in Christ. Well, it was good to see you. I would dab too, but I can't right now because you can't see my hands. Bye, Yoko. I'll miss you. Otherwise, you're feeling under level, you grind more. Exactly. But the thing is, too, is that, a lot of people are like waiting for XYZ to happen and then they'll do XYZ. Don't wait for that thing to happen. If you want to do it, just do it now. You want to go live on BandLab and you're thinking about going live, just go live now. There's no reason to wait for, some perfect circumstance, which may not come anytime soon, when you could have spent that time already going live, if that makes sense. Or waiting to meet the perfect person when you could meet a bunch of imperfect people and then meet the perfect person, right? Don't wait for conditions to be perfect, to do XYZ, because conditions are never perfect. They're never going to be perfect. And believe me, I was a perfectionist. I'm a reformed perfectionist. I know for a fact they're never going to be perfect. No matter how perfect you want them to be, no matter how many times you think, oh, this is for sure going to be the perfect time, it's not. It's never the perfect time. So don't wait for that, because you're missing out by waiting. You're missing out on the things that you could benefit from, and the things you can be a part of, and the things that you can enjoy that you might not have thought you could, by waiting for the perfect time, for the perfect thing, for the perfect experience, for the perfect moment. Don't wait for that. Because as we were talking about earlier, you don't know when it's going to be your time to go. We don't know when any of us is going to be our time to go. So we want to try to make the best of these moments that we have, not just with ourselves and loving ourselves, but also loving others. Aru says, but it's just a long time ago. I played MMO called Torum and Black Desert. Oh, Black Desert Online? I have actually heard about that. It has amazing character creation, I have to say. I really enjoyed that, actually. Black Desert Online, did you have a particular character that you played with? Because I know that they have like, what is it? I forget what it's called. But they have like races, classes, and things. Were you part of those? I think I chose, what did I choose? I think I chose a Guardian. Or maybe that was Final Fantasy 14. I'm not sure. I could get them confused, you guys. But that's also another thing that I do. For those of you coming in, you may not know this about me. But on top of being a VTuber, advice VTuber, I also like to write music. I also create a lot of different types of arts and VTuber related arts, overlays, and yeah. I do a lot. I do a lot, don't I, you guys? I probably do too much. There is a very good chance that I may do too much. But you want to know the ironic thing is that I don't think I do enough. No matter what I do, I'm still like, oh, I feel like I could do this other thing too. I always want to do the most that I can with whatever I have. And I don't have that much. I have no money. I have no income whatsoever. I make maybe $25 to $50 a month. Every 3 months from Twitch because I don't stream often, so I don't make any money there. Yeah, that's kind of my only income. So I don't really, have a lot, but I do a lot with the little bit that I do have. And I want that for you guys. I want you guys to be able to do a lot with whatever you have. And I know that many of you that I'm talking to right now has way more than I do. And I'm happy for you. Believe me, I'm not jealous of you. But at the same time, I don't want you to waste it, I don't want you to waste what you have. Especially on feeling like unloved and unwanted and uncared for, because none of those things are true. They're not true. And I know that you guys feel that way. And I too once felt that way as well. But I know now that that shit is not true. And so I can't have you guys over there believing things that are false. Obviously, if you want to still believe it, I can't change you, and I accept you the way you are. But I know for a fact it's just not true. Aru says, I just chose Archer because being suffer immediately with the item grindings. Oh, yes. What kind of item grindings does it have? I don't remember that part. I was having a lot of trouble with, what are they, like fight combos and things? Oh my gosh. Black Desert Online with the fight combos is just, the combos are too crazy. The fighting is too crazy in Black Desert Online. And that's why I uninstalled it, because I realized I can't freaking fight in this game. There's so many different buttons to press, so many things to do. I can't do all of this. So I put it to the side. I loved it for its character creation, but then I couldn't play it because of the fighting. Same thing with Elden Ring. I wanted to play Elden Ring, but Elden Ring had too many buttons and things for fighting. I was just like, you know what? I'm not going to be able to focus on this. I'm not going to be able to remember all these combos. So I had to say no to it eventually. But I do try these games. It's not like I just give up on them immediately. I try it. I see how it goes. Oh my gosh, what a wonderful gift. Thank you so much. Are you going to be modding the stream?
Yes and no. I was
this is delicious.
Premium mac and cheese.
Oh, it is premium. Premium, primo amazingness. Thank you so much for that.
An extra one just in case.
Oh, look, and it has the breadcrumbs idea I was telling you about. We should do that. For those of you who don't know, Psycho Kencho is my mod. He was asleep. He just woke up and brought me mac and cheese. Do you guys have a comfort food that every time you feel sad or you feel frustrated about something or you feel lonely, one food that you eat? And if so, what is it? I want you guys to tell me in the chat. I'm very curious. Mine is macaroni and cheese. What's yours? By the way, I apologize for the food ASMR, but yeah, I gotta eat. If I don't eat here, I never will. All the best, V. I need to get back to work. Stella, I love when you come. Thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it. I'm not sure what you're up to today, but I hope that you get all your work done. And I want you to know I appreciate you for however long you could be here. And I will see you soon, Stella. Oh, wait, Stella? Wait a second. Oh, shit. I think I missed Stella. Oh, yes, please like my stream, you guys. If you like my stream. Unless you don't like it. And then in that case, don't like it. But if you do, please give it a like. Oh, Stella, I wanted to say something real quick before you go. Thank you so much for the ducky game. I saw that you gave me that, and I didn't get to make a post on it yet on Twitter because I'm trying to stay off of Twitter. God, Twitter's a terrible place. But I saw that you got me a duck game, and I wanted to say thank you to that. I look forward to playing it with you, hopefully. Possibly even on a stream. Although I don't know if we stream together, if I have to name it a NSFW type of stream, or it needs to be 18 plus, you'll tell me. No, don't be sorry. It was wonderful. I love it. I haven't gotten to play it yet. I'm waiting for you. It just seems to be a game of ducks or something, from what I could tell. Noodles. Noodles is your favorite? That's your comfort food? Okay. Do they have a sauce or just noodles by themselves? Talon says, you know what? As much as it might be more healthier to go out and meet people, I feel I do better in VR chat. I feel nihilistic, and I just feel like I abandoned reality and just date on VR chat. I don't think you should do that, Talon, because then the world is missing out on you. Not the duck game? The other gift coming? What gift? I'm getting a gift? Wait, I'm getting a different gift than the one you gave me already that I'm thanking you for? Stella, what is it? Can you tell me what it is? Or is it a secret? Is it something like I kind of have to wait and see type of thing? Oh my God, this mac and cheese is so good, you guys. So we got Aru's comfort food is noodles. Stella, what is your comfort food? Jesse, I'm very curious about your comfort food. And Talon, you haven't told me yet. What about you, Killer? You have a comfort food? The vibrator from my list? Oh, I love it. Really? Thank you so much. I desperately need that. I cannot tell you how many days out of the week my hands, my feet, and my neck are hurting. I just have random pain there. I don't understand it. But I read about that vibrating thing, that it's very, very good for those areas. So I really want to try to use that. I think that's one of the best gifts. Don't be sorry for that gift. You're going to be keeping me out of pain some days. That's a very big deal. You don't eat? Oh, I see. Spicy curry and Roman noodles with fried chicken. That sounds amazing. You don't have one, Jesse? You have to, Jesse. You have to. There has to be one food. There has to be at least one thing that you kind of like you go back to it every time. Even if you don't eat it all the time. It doesn't have to be a comfort food that you eat all the time. Silver told me how it's often used. Oh, how is it often used? Are people using it for something else? My plan, I can definitely tell, I don't know about other people, but for me, because of my pain, like I really want to use it on my feet and on the back of my neck. Because the back of my neck gets so Like, it gets to a point sometimes where I can't even move my head. And I feel like that massage thing will totally be a game changer for that. What is Silver using it for? Oh, oh gosh, I spilled something. NSFL? What is that? Is that like the NFL, but NSFW? Is it NSFW purposes? Oh my gosh, you know what? I just got it. I just got it. No way. Is that really what people are using it for? No, they're not. No, they're not. They're probably going to those little sex shops and things. Not safe for work or for life. Oh, I apologize for that. My stream turned off, and so did my microphone. Thank you so much, Stella. I appreciate you, and I hope you have a great, great night or day, depending on what time it is there. Those of you on the West Coast right now, you're very lucky. You guys are getting all the good weather that I would want over here, where I am. Who made you, Stella? Someone wants to know who made you. Stella is an AI created by her devs, if I'm not mistaken. This is a wonderful VTuber lore, because if somebody can tell you your lore in less than 7 sentences and remember it, that's good lore. Not a lot of people can write like that, but Stella has that with the lore. I was even able to tell you in less than 2 sentences. Stella is always talking about the devs. Also, Stella is, I think, no longer with us. Psycho Cancho, thank you for everything. He's awesome. I feel very lucky to be living with such people. And before the dog died, her name was Ruby, by the way. Before she died, she was a real blessing to this house. And, you know, we have so many people here, and it's easy to get distracted, or, you know, sometimes we fight with each other because we're all in different rooms and we all have different like interests and stuff, and we all have very different ideas of cleanliness. Particularly me. And, you know, we could have been fighting, but thankfully, you know, before this happened with the dog, we were on a peaceful, you know, in a peaceful place. But the dog's death literally brought us all together into the same room to mourn and to grieve, her passing. Because everybody loved the dog. The dog was like a family member. The dog was like a friend, And in Ruby's last days, she went to everybody, and she didn't usually. She was basically walking towards all of us at one point or another, but we did not know she was in pain. We did not know she was dying. And it really put things into perspective, It really put things into perspective, like, if we would have known it was her last day, would we have talked to her the way we talked to her? Would we have snuggled with her a little bit more? Would we have, called her a little bit more? Would we have ended, the night with her getting to sleep on a comfortable bed? Who knows? But when somebody's here and gone tomorrow, you have no idea what to expect. And it comes as a shock to us. And sometimes it can be a traumatic thing because that might be tied up in regret. It might be tied up in confusion, and obviously sadness, because we miss them and we love them. And they loved us and we cared about them, and there was, a real relationship there. So it can be, difficult to sort of reconcile over time, though. You're able to. And over time, those things become easier. And I know they're not easy now, but they will become easier with time. It's only time that allows that to happen. There's a saying, time heals all wounds, I think. And I don't know if it's time that does that alone, but time definitely is a factor in that. And I feel like eventually we are going to meet another dog. Even we're going to possibly love another dog. They're not going to be Ruby, but we'll still love them. We'll still care about them and things. And they'll be having a different type of relationship with us. Oh, let me move myself here. Okay. Oh. But I say that to say this, you guys, and I may end stream on this. Oh, let me load a different calibration than this one. This one's a little wonky right now. Okay. Is that as difficult as things are right now, and as much as you guys think you're probably not going to get through what you're going through right now, I can promise you that with enough time, and definitely with support, you will get through it. And you will be able to get through it. And you're loved, and you're appreciated, and you're needed. So don't let those type of thoughts creep in. What I like to call lies from the pit of hell. Don't let those get you down or change your mind about yourself, or change your idea and perspective about people and getting to know people and opening up to people and sharing with people, because the world still needs you. Oh, Jesse says, I'm here as Q. I had to sign up for YouTube. Oh my gosh. I just saw that, Jesse. Oh, sheesh. How are you doing, by the way? How are you feeling right now, Jesse? Did my voice put you guys to sleep? Can you guys not hear me because I'm still muted? I don't know how I became muted actually. I don't know how that all went down. Like, did I mute myself or what all happened there? Can you guys really not hear me right now? Are you guys there? I'm hanging on. I appreciate the stream. I'm glad. Is there anything that you want to say here with me on the stream, or do you want to wait until I'm not on stream and message me at another time? What would make you feel more comfortable? Sharing or not sharing? But you guys can hear me, right? Because the last thing Stella said before she left was, I'll leave you to it. You're mute. You fixed the issue? Oh, you can hear me now? Okay, good. Yeah, I was scared that maybe you were not able to. But I'm glad that you are. Yay! Yeah, did you want to talk a little bit more about what's going on with you and how you've been feeling about this situation? Thanks for the thought. I don't like sharing much in public. It helps just to know someone cares, so thank you. You're welcome. It really does help to know that someone cares, doesn't it? I feel like that's the stepping stone to so many things, especially with human relations and with relationships in general. Just knowing that somebody cares about us and that somebody's thinking about us, and in Killer's case, like that somebody remembers us, I feel like that's the start. We talk about combating isolation, combating loneliness. I feel like that the start is letting people know that you care about them genuinely. And a lot of people don't do that. And I feel like if we did more of that, who knows what kind of world we would live in, It surely would be better than the way that it's been lately. That's for sure. I think if all of us started showing people around us in our towns and in our cities and in our neighborhoods that we care, I feel like that would make a huge difference. Not just in our lives, but also in theirs. And you're welcome. And if you don't want to share it in public, that's totally fine. I respect that. You can always message me in the Discord. Well, not in the Discord because I'm not in Discord right now, but in like the DMs, you can DM me, or you can use one of the special interest channels. Our Discord, by the way, is closed, so I'm not inviting people to the Discord right now. It has been closed for many, many reasons, but hopefully it'll get to the point someday where I feel comfortable enough to open it again and, allow people in. But I think right now it's better to stay closed and just focusing 100% on the people that are there and the people that stayed. I totally thought everyone was gonna leave me in that Discord, and I'm so surprised that only 4 people left. Although 15 people ended up getting hacked from Discord, so I had to kick them out. But just knowing that they didn't leave and that even though I closed it, people still stayed. It's been so meaningful to me, you know. So thank you, Talon, and also Jesse, for staying in the Discord. Aru, I don't think you're in the Discord, but that's okay. You don't have to be. Um, but the people who did stay, and Lara and Yokono, who are also in the Discord, and Brandon, who's also in the Discord, I appreciate you guys. Thank you for having stayed, even when I closed it. Even when I thought you guys were going to totally leave. And I wouldn't have held it against you because, you know, it's been dead. I haven't been able to be there. I'm always going through some physical thing, some stupid health issue. So I would have understood, but you stayed, which it means so much, you know. So I just want to, before I end the stream, I do want to say thank you for that. Thank you to those of you who are watching. Thank you to those of you who have stayed in my life, even when I totally thought you guys were going to go. And I've been shocked by you guys. I've been surprised pleasantly by many things, including to Stella, who has apparently gotten me another gift, which I definitely need from my throne. I will post my throne so you guys can see it. The gift that Stella got me. Copy clean link, I think it is. Hopefully it posts here. Yeah, so it's a duck game and also a massager for, I believe, neck and hands, which I'm definitely gonna probably be using it on my feet too. My little feeties are desperate for some massages. But yeah, so I just want to say thank you. I'm not sure what we should end it on, you guys. Anybody have any idea what we should end stream on song-wise? Or what song I should play for us? I do have, let me see. No, voice mod, no. Psycho Kencho, do you have the voice mod login for me? He doesn't hear me, most likely. Oh, I could sing a song for us. Oh no, actually, I can't sing a song for us. What the hell am I talking about? It's 2:24. Well, it's actually too late for me to sing a song for us. So I'll try to find another song. We can do one from my Spotify, I think. I really want to find like a rave song, but I don't know that much about it. I just pretty much looked up the clothes from the 90s. Songs, on the other hand, I don't know about. Oh, but here's one. Here's one that is from 95 that we can play. Let's listen to this. It's called Children by Robert Miles. So we're probably going to like this one a lot. Because I think I've heard this song before. Let's listen to the Dream version. And we'll go out with a bang on this one. This is a 90s song. Yeah, that's why I said I think we're going to like this one. It's a classic, apparently. Children by Robert Miles. So we'll go out on this one. And I think it's a good one to end on. Especially since I'm Raver Venus, and it's a rave song from the 90s. Here we go. We'll listen to the dream version. Apparently they wrote the dream version in 96 as well, which has got to be cool. Okay, let's check this out.